Alright, welcome to Fluff. I want to apologize for the delay on this one. I was waiting for my food to arrive and it took a bit longer than usual, so I had to just stuff my face full. I'm a bit stressed out because I have to wake up early tomorrow for my run, early morning run, and then for driving lessons. And then I have to go to a store to check out for some mattresses, and then I probably have to go to the store to get a gift for somebody else, and then a friend's gonna hang out with me. So like, it's gonna be a lot happening tomorrow, but hey, it's all fine. It's all fine. Let's just get this started. And I forgot to set that up. I'm sorry about that. That's what. Yep. I mean, I always forget this one. It has nothing to do with the stress anyway. But here we go. All right, and there we go. We're gonna start early before people come in, if they do. But yeah, it's just gonna start early. Get to it. I want to be asleep before 1 a.m. so I have enough sleep for tomorrow. Alright, here we go. Also, why it's not randomized? There we go. My music. Okay, videos of a robbery. Oh. Interesting. The title doesn't give me any ideas, but I think if I have to come up with an idea on the fucking fly. Okay, I think it's a videotape that whenever you place it into a VHS player, you get to see either a live robbery or a robbery that happened recently, and it's the same tape all the time, so it's not possible to update itself. It shouldn't be possible to update itself, but that's what it does. It always shows you a robbery somewhere in the world. Oh, it's Euclid. Well, that means there's definitely something different then. MTF Gamma 5 Red Herrings is to monitor all police scanner traffic within a 72-kilometer radius of the most recent manifestation of SCP-111. SCP-1110 is ordered to detect and scramble any potential reports of SCP-1110 activity to law enforcement. Once a report is detected and stopped, Gamma 5 units are to be reported to the location of origin disguised as a local law enforcement, as per Hush Protocol 7 and confiscate all footage of SCP-1110. All cash losses are incurred to be replaced through foundation funds. Special accounts dedicated to the loss replacement drawn on private banks have been created and provided to MTF squad leader accordingly. A special task force of MTF Gamma 5 STF-7 Reservoir Repairman has been created and tasked with impersonating a private security firm. Secure Corp. Sorry, the song is just so good. Secure Corp professionals and gaining control of bank security in the area immediately surrounding recent manifestation of SCP-1110 in order to destroy footage of SCP-1110 as the event occurs and to attempt to interfere if possible. Here we go. Description. So yeah, it looks like it's probably it's used because it seems to be happening in multiple places. For a moment I thought I wrote and stressed out with 3 S's. I was like, what? Was it that bad? Okay. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay, it works. It works. Never mind. Let me double check. Everything works. SCP-1110 is a series of phenomena that thus far seems to appear only on video cameras manufactured later than 19 and centers around financial institutions such as banks or other repositories of currency in the United States. To date, instances of SCP-1110 manifestation have been confirmed in between and unconfirmed. I think the idea of me talking about being just, even though I'm not saying anything, but the idea of me just saying something random while bleeping it gives it a bit more authenticity, but I probably not going to do this all the time. Unconfirmed cases are suspected to involve SCP-1110 with at least one case coinciding with a typical bank robbery that occurred simultaneously in the same institution, making loss verification impossible. Unexplained losses by financial institutions lacking video monitoring systems are included in this approximation. Oh my god, we got Remember playing right now? Nice. During typical SCP-1110 manifestation, two humanoid entities with their faces obscured by dark materials designated -1, -2 can be seen on camera footage entering the financial institution brandishing guns in a threatening manner, coupled with aggressive body language. -1 and -2 typically wear dark clothing and are distinguished by a grey hood on -1 and what seems to be a skull-like mask obscuring on -2. Okay, the pair will generally approach the teller and move in a fashion indicative of robbery demands. Yeah, like, you know, hiding a gun or like pointing a gun, looking around, the people looking at the camera. Of course, not like, obviously, they're not going to be like, ooh, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we have 16 people. 1, 2, 3 cameras. At this point, the teller in the video will seem to comply with those demands by raising their hands above their head and carefully handing over money, which -1 will place in the briefcase, while -2 maintains its threatening pose towards the teller. Once the sum of cash between and has been handed over, -1 will seal the briefcase and nod to -2, and the entities will exit the building. Note that the entities and phenomena occur only on video. During the time frame that video records of SCP-1110 activity, business will commence as usual in the bank. No teller or customer present during an SCP-1110 event, including Foundation personnel on the scene, has ever seen, heard, or felt -1 or -2, even in cases where they have been shown in the video to physically assault or they're expunged. 10-A. So even though in the video they seem to be like aggressively treated, it just doesn't happen in real life. Okay, so basically, it's a fake out video. Like, the police would think like, oh shit, there's a robbery, but then like they would go and it's like, who robbed you? And it's like, nobody. Nobody did. And it's like, but we have video evidence that you got robbed. It's like, well, today only like 10 people came to me and some of them were just asking to like move money and stuff. I don't think there was a robbery though. And then the police go like, oh, you fucking with us. By the way, is this a big difference? Let me just see here, because if it's not a big difference, then... No, that's good, that's good. Okay. Following a manifestation of SCP-1110, a sum of cash approximately equal to the amount shown being stolen in video footage will be missing from the place of manifestation. Oh, okay, so cash will be missing. But they will never remember the fact that the robbery happened. That must be ooh. Imagine your boss shows up and wants to be like, hey, can we check how much money we have in the bank? It should, like a weekly checkup or a monthly checkup. And they're like, oh yeah, there should be at least this amount. You open up and a certain amount is missing. It's like, where did that go? It's like, sir, I will be honest with you, I have no idea where that went. What do you mean you have no idea? I don't know how to explain this. So like, nobody ever went back here except people that have to be back here to. There have been confirmed cases of the entity stealing other items during manifestation, including an incident in which -2 apparently demanded that a bank patron hand over his wristwatch. Following the manifestation, the patron commented to the Foundation interviews that his watch was present, but had stopped at the instant of removal shown in the video. So like, it just like vanished. But then in that case, was he aware that it vanished, or was he then only aware until somebody mentioned, hey, your watch is gone? It's like, oh yeah. You know what I mean? Like, because they always say that there's no recollection that if that -1 and -2 came in. And then, hey, on 19... A teller was shown in SCP-1110 footage to assist and was subsequently shot by -2. Post-incident reviews with other bank employees revealed data expunged. Wait. Data expunged. There we go. Then B. Yes, I'm aware that the containment protocols for SCP-1110 currently allow the possibility that legitimate crimes will go and have gone unreported due to accidental interference by MTF Gamma 5. I assure you all this is a risk we must accept in order to maintain containment and prevent public knowledge of SCP-1110. MTF Commander on security cameras for small pay-to-park businesses adjacent to the financial institution targeted by SCP-1110 captured footage of Dash 1 and Dash 2 fleeing the building on foot and entering a delivery vehicle parked in the pay-to-park lot. The vehicle was not recorded in the payment logs or the pay-to-park enterprises, nor was it observed to be by the employee operating the toll gate, and was driven by what appeared in the footage to be a Caucasian person of indeterminate build. The logo on the vehicle was noted to be by the agent who recovered the footage to bear striking similarity to redacted, and the possibility of connections is currently under investigation. A proposal to add a modification of security video systems to include exterior and parking area cameras in all financial institutions under observation by MTF G5 STF7 to contain protocols for SCP-1110 is under review, pending authorization from Commander. Okay. Definitely different than what I expected, because I expected like that. It's just a VGS that just shows you a robbery happening somewhere in the world. But at the end, it wasn't that at all. It was a robbery that nobody remembers, recalls, experienced, but stuff goes missing. The white dog. What if the white dog is kind of like the black cat type of thing? Like in the moment you see a black cat, you're like, oh shit, that's bad luck. But with this one, it's a white dog. And then somebody dies when they see the white dog. They're like, oh, look at that white dog. Isn't that cute? And the next thing you know, lightning hits you. I don't know. Something like that. You're just chilling. You're just chilling in the park. You're like, you're having a little bit of a sip, like, oh, hey, darling, look. Look at that white dog go. Wow. That's a gorgeous dog, I say. Well groomed. Huh, I wonder who it belongs to. That's like, I have a shotgun. Ah! What's happening? I don't know. You saw that white dog? Yeah, I saw that white dog. Look out! Fucking steel beam crashes on that person, like stuff like that. Like it's just non-stop. Like wherever the white dog goes, death follows. Ooh, it's a high-rated one. A restricted zone has been established in a 2-kilometer radius around Dash 2. A public statement was released declaring to be a weather monitoring station. Cameras are suspended from weather balloons constantly monitoring the enclosure. Individuals may not come within 1 kilometer of Dash 2 without explicit written permission from a level 4 researcher or higher. Should SCP-1111-1 move away from Dash 2, all personnel to evacuate the restricted zone until Dash 1 returns to its position beneath Dash 2. Okay, Dash 1 is an entity with an appearance similar to that of Canis familiaris. I mean, Canis is definitely dog, but just dog, huh? It just means dog. Commonly known as the domestic. Okay, yeah, just dog. The size of Dash 1 varies with the distance from Dash 2, directly beneath it. Dash 1 is approximately 150 centimeters from ground to shoulders. Wait. From ground to shoulders, it's fucking... It's like... up here? God damn, boy. That is big. Are you sure you don't have a bear? From ground to shoulders, the exact breed of Dash 1 is unclear. It appears to be a mix with traits of both a Labrador Retriever and a German Shepherd clearly visible. Okay. Wait, Labrador Retriever. Not okay. Okay, yeah. Dash 1 possesses a white coat and red eyes. Ooh, it's an albino. Both of which glow at luminosities directly proportional to its proximity to Dash 2. God damn it, it walks in the eyes, just starts glowing red. Dash 2 at a distance of greater than 500 meters from Dash 2. A distance greater than 500 meters from Dash 2, Dash 1 gradually becomes translucent. Additionally, Dash 1's speed, strength, and agility are also to be inversely proportional to its distance from Dash 2. So the further away from Dash 2 it is, the stronger it gets, I guess bigger it gets as well, because it does say the size varies from how far it is. it starts having glowing red eyes, but it also goes invisible. Okay. A dog tag is affixed to a faded red collar around -1's neck. The tag reads, loyal. Okay, it better be loyal. Because it might mess people up. Left alone, -1 lies down beneath -2. It does not appear to... does that explain what -2 even is? Because I understand -1 is a dog, but... but it doesn't say what -2 is, does it? Maybe it says later. Left alone, -1 lies down beneath the dash. It does not appear to sleep, or if it does, is able to do so with its eyes completely open. It does not eat, drink, or breathe. Well, that's definitely unsettling. Should -1 become aware of any person or object coming near -2, it will quickly become hostile and attempt to destroy the intruder. Wow. A guard dog, eh? -1 has significantly increased physical abilities above a standard canine. Video records show it running at speeds in excess of 60 kilometers per hour, jumping 6 meters into the air and biting through 50mm titanium plating. That's badass, to be honest. -1 appears to be incorporeal, and such attempts to prove neutralize it and examine -2 more closely have been met with failure. See incident log B for details. Here we go. -2 has the appearance of a man hanged by a noose from a tree. That's a very sad and very fucked image. It's a dog that basically is staying with the owner, but the owner is dead. And it just reminds me of the Futurama episode of the dog constantly just staying in one place. But in this case, like, it's not like, oh, maybe my owner will come back. No, the owner is gone. Dead. Finito. Unalive. That's sad. And the dog is just trying to stay there. But so the further away the dog gets from that spot, the more dangerous it is. Okay. The subject wears a faded business suit and dress shoes. Both are too worn to properly identify a manufacturer. -2 constantly jerks and twitches in a manner consistent with those of a man being oh no! Occasional gasps for breath can also be heard. Oh. The violence and energy of these jerks is directly proportional to -1's proximity to -2, as the distance between those two increases the jerks with increase in violence and frequency. Okay, now my mind has changed. So the further away -1 gets, the dog, the less twitchy he gets. Which I'm trying to figure out, like, why? Why not the other way around? Why not, like, have the moment the dog is closer, the twitch just stop, but the further away it goes, it just starts doing the stanky leg and the conga dance out in the air. Just starts spinning. Okay. Date 5th, 2nd, 19. A team of agents was sent to attempt to neutralize -1 for transportation to a containment facility. The team approached -2 from north opposite direction -1 was facing. The agents were able to come within 300 meters of -2, at which point -1 rose and attacked agents without warning. Agent, realizing that the mission had failed, began to flee the area. -1 pursued but decreased in size, definition, and speed as it grew further and further away from... -1 pursued but decreased in size, definition, and speed as it grew further and further away from okay, so I thought it gets stronger. Okay, it gets weaker the further away it is. And that's why the twitching probably increases as well. Because it's like, my protector is getting away. When Dash 1 reached a distance of 900 meters from Dash 2 was observed to stop moving entirely. At this point, Dash 1 froze for a moment and turned to its head towards Dash 2. Dash 1 stayed in this position for a few seconds before howling once and sprinting back towards Dash 2. Dash 2 was observed to resume its jerk and twitching. That is really a messed up image. Video records of the incident indicate that rounds fired at Dash 1 passed through it without making contact, despite the fact that its teeth and claws provide solid when attacking agents. Agent was the only one to survive the incident. All 5 from this point forward, only D-Class and remote-operated drones may be used to approach SCP-1111 directly. 5th, 20th, 19th, D-Class armed with data expunged was sent to approach Dash 2 from various directions. Incident proved similar to previous attempts. Dash 1 proceeded to kill all D-Class present. Yeah, I mean, it's fucking failures. During the incident, D83011 was able to come within 50 meters of Dash 2 before being killed. During this time, cameras noted an anomaly with Dash 2. It jerked, slowed, and its eyes opened and fixed on D83011. Dash 2 arms then raised towards D83011 in what appeared to observers as a welcoming embrace. Moments before D83011 was killed by Dash 1, Dash 2 lips can see moving, mouthing what appeared to be the words, "No, down boy." Wait. "No, down boy." Immediately after the death of D83011, Dash 2 fell limp and resumed with normal twitching. All 5. It appears as though simply isolating Dash 2 is enough to effectively contain Dash 1. As such, all further testing is suspended, bearing a significant development until further notice. Question. I mean, okay, no, a car wouldn't probably survive, because, like, this dog can probably bite through that door, but what if you have, like, some, like a tank, like, I know that's expensive, but what if you have a tank to get closer? And then you communicate to Dash 1 via the tank, like, slit, like, "Hey! You doing okay up there? You surviving?" Shadow play is next. So I'm thinking about, like, you know how you have, like, the screen and then you have the silhouettes of people and it looks like shadows, or it's the shadows of the people doing, like, a whole, like, act. So I think it's that's what they're going to try to talk about. But what about this part is an SCP? I'm gonna say maybe a shadow from a person that observes it is part of the play, even though they're not doing anything, they're just watching it, but their shadow is suddenly on there, and the shadow gets brutally, like, it's part of a brutal play, and when the shadow dies, you die. Or your shadow is gone completely. Like, you don't have to die, but your shadow, like, you don't cast a shadow no more because your shadow died. Tiara, on fire. Save. SCP-1112 is to be locked in containment cell 1112 at all times. Permission to study SCP-1112 must go through Doctor, as items are fragile. Personnel are advised to handle objects with care. No further precautions are necessary. SCP-1112 is the collective designation for 4 Han Dynasty era Chinese shadow puppets, dated circa CE. The items are cut from painted leather and stand 30 centimeters, 12 inches tall. Typical of the era's design, wooden sticks fastened to the joints animate the figures. When not operated, the objects do not exhibit any abnormal properties. SCP-1112's perceptual effects manifest when the objects are animated between a light source and translucent screen by one or more individuals. As in traditional shadow plays, all members of the play's audience will perceive individual figures as the silhouettes of deceased, estranged, or otherwise unattainable persons in their lives. The silhouette figures perform scenes from their lives that either correspond to a subject's memories or are speculative and metaphorical in nature. No commonalities have been observed across all plays, except that they include the deceased persons as the subject of the scene. Only the silhouettes are visible and will often interact with invisible characters and props. See experiment log 1 for documented scenes. Okay, go on. I'm listening. Each figure is an archetypal in design and symbolizes a category of interpersonal relationships, such as parental, familial, or romantic bonds. Okay. The subject perceives as each figure as an unattainable person with whom they share the particular connection. When no persons in the subject's life correspond to a figure, the puppet is non-anomalous. Close observation of the silhouettes by subjects have revealed they behave as the real individuals in all aspects, even mirroring nervous tics and gesticulations on the viewer would have been privy to. The silhouettes move with fluidity and precision that would be impossible with ordinary shadow puppets. The figures, however, do not vocalize. That's kind of creepy, though. If you think about it, like the moves like iconically close to like how the people that you know move. But it's just like in most shadow plays, they don't speak. So, note that male figures can be observed as female silhouettes and vice versa. The list of SCP-1112 items currently include -1, a concubine figure in a traditional gown, often observed as the individual's dead lover, ex-wife, old flame, or an object of unrequited affection. -2, an emperor figure wearing battle armor and brandishing a sword, observed as the subject's dead estranged father or father figure. -3, an empress figure in royal wear, observed as the subject's dead estranged mother or mother figure. And number 4, an ornately adorned aesthetic figure with a demonic visage, observed as a person that has inflicted physical and psychological trauma on the subject of. So we have lover and we have the parents, two parents, and then somebody who's you're not comfortable with, basically. In this case, though, physical pain or trauma. Okay. Although there have been no recorded effects of mimetic compulsion to animate the items, individuals that do so, hereby referred to as users, become silent until the current play is concluded. Looking behind the screen reveals no cause of the figure's perceptual effects. The user simply operates the puppets according to their desires and ability, but are unresponsive to external stimuli. As long as the figures are being moved behind the screen, SCP-1112's effect will manifest. When the user succeeds in operating the figures, all scenes will conclude together, however varied in nature. The player uses. I forgot to do something. The player uses performance never seen by the audience and has no bearing on the subject matter perceived. The nature and content of the performance is tailored specifically to individuals, members of the audience, even if other persons are present in the room. Content of scenes tends to vary widely depending on the figures used, the status of the subject's relationship with the perceived persons, and other psychological predilections due to the intimate and emotional subject's matter of the performance. Understanding the context of documented scenes is dependent on the subject's interpretation of what are often private, inscrutable, and disturbing revelations into the loved one's life. Recorded plays with only one figure have included scenes depicting the person's final hours in real time. Birth, childhood, traumatic experiences, everyday life, personal triumphs, and more esoteric scenes that could not possibly have occurred, but are inferred to the symbolic representation of some aspect of the lay person's life. Plays that have included multiple figures have deviated widely in content, such as the figures holding a roundtable discussion on the opinion of the subject. In fear to lack of civilization 2, they're expunged. And then we have an access of a couple of logs. It looks like 5. Experiment 1, D12344, middle-aged male with deceased mother. Figure -2, which is the mom figure, if I recall correctly. No, that's the father figure, but it did say it can switch. So subject became increasingly agitated over the duration of the play and became hostile when questioned by Dr. Subject was sedated and forcibly contained in a psychiatric holding cell until Dr. explained the nature of SCP-1112 and was able to coax D12344 into cooperating. Subject reportedly witnessed a silhouette of his late mother violently assaulted by an invisible assailant for 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Seeing matched the memory of subject had of an identical assault by his mother's then partner, of Wichita, Kansas. Foundation agents were able to procure appropriate records from the WPD and found a domestic assault charge from attached police report confirmed the sequence of events. We've established the veracity of the scenes SB1112 presents to us, so we know it's either capable of limited omniscience in regards to what it performs for its viewers, or that it somehow dredges up old memories. Research is ongoing, Doctor. Experiment 3. D13996, middle-aged male with deceased parents. -2 and -3, so both parents. Subject described having observed the silhouettes of his mother and father ballroom dancing for 9 minutes and 14 seconds. Okay, that's not too bad. D13996 was unaware of the scene ever occurring and stressed the marriage was generally untroubled. Whether the play event was a reenactment of a real-life occurrence or a metaphorical interpretation of a relationship on the part of the item is as of yet undetermined. I was worried that like this thing always will show gruesome stuff, because but I guess at the end, as long as you know you had a good life, and then it becomes the person that they think of, like mother or father, then I guess you don't have to worry about it. Experiment 13, D19564, late 20s female with deceased parents and ex-husband. Okay, now we're gonna have the lover puppet included. Subject reported to have observed younger silhouettes of mother and father engaged in conversation with ex-husband. At approximately the 4-minute mark, the ex-husband reportedly placed his arm around the mother's waist, provoking a physical altercation between the two males. Subject father was apparently knocked unconscious. Play ended on shot of ex-husband and mother in physical embrace. Subject became flustered while recounting the event, placed in the holding cell until conditions improve. What? So this play is indicating that. I'm going to skip this song because we had this yesterday already. This play is indicating that her ex-husband got her mom pregnant and then killed the dad. But that seems like something that potentially shouldn't. I mean, both parents are deceased, and unless her ex-husband was like, I don't know, this seems odd. We don't know if the items are deliberately fabricating a psychological harmful content, or if it is simulating some of the subject's map based on real, unquantifiable variables. We just don't know, Doctor. That seems a bit weird. That seems like they want like at the end, maybe like the ex-husband has a weird relationship with the D class's mother. Like they clearly had some like romantic interest in each other, but it never happened. Now this shadow play is being like, oh, this was your biggest worries when you guys were together. I don't know. Experiment 30. D13961, middle-aged male with a deceased mother. Figures 3, okay. Subject observed the silhouette of his mother methodically dismembering itself over the span of an hour. Okay, experiment 3 so far was the nicest one by just having them dance, but every other play so far is pretty horrendous. Figure began with rear, progressed to the thigh, stomach, backside, and was amputating its left arm before D13961 became hostile and testing was halted. The figure appeared to be unaffected despite severe blood loss. D13961 became extremely unnerved as the scene progressed and was placed in a holding cell for the remainder of the day. In a follow-up interview, D13961 explained his mother had struggled with body dysmorphic disorder. Subject confirmed she had recently expired of natural causes. Even the most bizarre scenes have some basis in reality, Doctor. So yeah, that was just... So at the end, I think this explains a little bit what Experiment 13 was all about. It was something that either was based on reality or was something that either A, the subject was worried about, or B, the people that it reenacts was had in mind. Like, yeah, the fact that this in Experiment 30, the mom is just ripping out body parts is just because she never liked her body to begin with. But yeah, clearly the D class knew about this and was worried about that. So this was just an insult to him. Experiment 32. D18431, teenage male incarcerated for murder. Figures 4 and 1. Oh, who's 4 going to be? Dash 4 reportedly manifested as redacted. Dash 4 proceeded to dash 100 on the far side of the screen and data expunged. Testing hollow when subject broke restraints and assaulted user. Terminated ahead of schedule. First document instance of a prop item materializing on screen. Oh! Dash 4 noted to have felt slightly warm to the touch for the next hour. Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, so So one of the puppets just like poof, came out and was like, okay, I didn't think that was a thing impossible. So let me just real quick go and do something. The thing I forgot to do. I'll be right back. I'm back. Where did I put my glasses? Damn it. I had to do my laundry because my sportswear is in there, and I need that for tomorrow. And I don't want to run around in super sweaty clothes. So, all right, we didn't put Shadow Play in the list just yet. There we go. How do you spell this out?
Lachesis.
Lachesis. Okay, Lachesis, but what is a Lachesis? Well, the three. Oh, yeah. Of course. Well, yes, she was one of the three fates. Yes, with Colophon Atropos. Yes, I completely forgot that that's what her name was. Well, the Lachesis spinner. So I think the spinner is like the thing that you make the cloth with. Or like you spin the string through. So since Lachesis is one of the fates, it must be something that can like influence your fate then. Safe. Due to its posing no risk when in a passive state, SCP-1113 can be stored in a secure box in the standard containment room. If required for testing, may be signed out for use by level 3 researchers and above. Any testing involving D-class mortality must be approved in writing by a member of senior staff prior to commencement. SCP-1113 is a small spinning top comprised of a hollow bronze base, heavily oxidized and showing small flecks of blue from having been previously painted. The upper section is a porcelain figure of the upper body of a woman, painted with an animal and with a blue and brown blouse made of a rough cotton. It is spun by means of wrapping the string around it and then pulling firmly to rotate the top at speed. The figurine is attached to the bronze segment by a clear resin-like glue concurrent with the apparent age of manufacture, circa 1915. The bronze component has been estimated by thermoluminescent dating to have been cast around 50 BC, plus minus 40 years. There are imperfections in the alloy and tooling marks on the inside of the top that suggest that the bronze has been retooled and was formerly used in a different construction. When SCP-113 is spun by hand, the person doing so does not age or suffer any degeneration to the body due to the effects of aging or illness for as long as the top is spinning. Oh. You kind of become semi-immortal then. Tests using automated robot spinning the top suggest that it will spin for anywhere up to 14 hours when spun with sufficient force, using levels of force within realistic limits of human strength. Any rounds seized before or during the top being spun remain present and are not affected in any way. The individual is still mortal to life-threatening injury while the top is being spun. Okay, so you can still die, but your injuries won't close or heal, but also doesn't seem to... But it says not infected in any way, so I assume it doesn't just heal, but does it mean also it doesn't keep getting worse? Maybe? Like if you get a cut and it bleeds, but then you're in that area with the top, does the bleeding stop, but the cut is still open? And then when you leave, the bleeding continues. Is that... The top came to the attention of the Foundation when alerted by a member of the London Metropolitan Police Force with connection to the Foundation. He reported that it had taken its evidence from a house in Brighton, UK, which had been entered by Sussex police after reports by neighbours of an unpleasant smell. Oh no. I can kind of guess what the smell is. And on forcing their way into the house, I discovered a corpse. Yeah, it's a corpse. Of a man who was estimated to be around 70 years old. His body was on the floor with one arm stretched out under the sofa. Officers found the spinning top at the back of the sofa. Oh, he wanted to get the thing back. His right palm showed heavy calluses at the base of all the fingers and a wound approximately 1 centimeter deep across the center of the palm, which appeared to be cauterized through burning or friction. Estimates suggest that it could take many weeks of constant friction between the string and palm to cause such extensive damage. There was also severe damage to the right shoulder socket and extreme dislocation caused by the arm being overextended in attempts to reach the spinning top. He really wanted that top back. He was like, reach for the stars! And then... But he could never get it back.
That's rough, buddy.
That's rough, buddy. Although there was a little personal information found in the flat, the body was identified as belonging to Richard Mark Piper from 19 driving license and a birth certificate found in the flat, giving the deceased date of birth as 24/12/18. Further information may be found in the supplemental materials, consisting primarily of a set of journals found at the home of the deceased and the police witness reports from neighbors. So here we go. Supplemental materials -2C, fragments from Journal of Richard Mark Piper. Errors, author's own. Okay. January 19. It definitely works. I mean, I'm not sure how, but every time I start the top spinning, it's like my hands are opening, expanding like a parched man given a canteen of water. If I had this sooner, I could have helped this with this damn wall. I wonder how it works. It's magnetism perhaps, or some of that crystal hokum? Hokum? What am I saying? I'm writing this using a fountain pen with my wonderful working hands. So... I was about to say like his hands didn't work really well before, but no, I think it's just a reaction that it feels like his hands are opening, right? Like my hands. April 19. The people at the club are always asking how I look so good for my age. They think I'm a 60-year-old that looks 50, and they're impressed. Imagine if they knew the truth. I remember the last coronation, let alone this one. This truly is a marvel. I wish I could tell the world what I have discovered, but then it would be taken from me. I know this. If only I could let Rachel use it. She seems so frail these days. But if I did, I know she'd not be able to resist telling friends. Women can't even get a new night cream without telling everyone on the street about it. Yeah, I mean, this was the views of men back in the days, huh? I won't tell this woman because she's gonna gossip about it. Because that's all that they do. June 2000. Can't hold the pen very well. My hand is awful sore. Can't stop though. I can feel him breathing down my neck. The Reaper. I know I've held him off too long. It's getting harder and harder now. Now's only spins for a couple of minutes at a time. She must keep dancing. She dances so beautifully. I don't want to die. So he extended his life way too long, to the extent where like his hands just couldn't take it anymore. Although it's clear that the effect of this album could result in its use becoming obsessive, we have no evidence on whether or not it is merely psychological or a condition created by the SCP itself. Until it is known, suggested that the use is restricted to D-class personnel. I think that's psychological. I believe that this man just was really stoked about this. In your ear, let's see the car tonight. What a dummy is the next one. Sorry about this. Like, I'm thinking of a car crash dummy. But the car crash dummy, he does... Okay, here's what the car crash dummy does. You put him in the car, he crashes. So I have two ideas. Either A, before he crashes, he swaps places with an actual person. Or B, whatever crash he experienced, that person that was witnessing it or constructing it will go for the same crash, either the same day or within the week or within the month. That's my theory what this one does. Euclid, SCP-1114 is to be contained in a secured modular locker at storage site 12. This locker is to be placed within the perimeter of the compound, at least 75 meters from any other structure. No outer area accessible to personnel and /or SCPs. SCP-1114 is to be observed by a CCTV camera, the feed from which needs to be analyzed continually by optical image recognition software for potential changes for the SCP-1114's deformable face plating. The camera and the server running this software have to be connected to a backup power supply so that in the event of a power failure, continuous surveillance is guaranteed. Weekly maintenance checks of both camera and server are to be executed by authorized technical staff. Tests using SCP-1114 are to be authorized by a Level 4 chain member of research staff. If an anomaly is detected outside of scheduled testing, the senior research staff member on site is to enact Protocol Wanderlust immediately. A security detail is to then search the area around SCP-1114's location for human remains should no such remain be present in its locker. Description: SCP-1114 is a Model SA automotive crash test dummy. Hey, I was not wrong. From the Hybrid 2 series as manufactured by between 19 and 19. A mark was discovered stamped into the underside of the SCP-1114 solid vinyl foot, identifying its production as date as 19. Research into the company history has not yielded any significant events around that time to account for the SCP-1114's properties. Samples taken from SCP-1114 indicate it is constructed of a material appropriate for both the time period in which it was manufactured and for the model in question. A steel skeletal construct with aluminium and bronze joints covered in various solid vinyl skins and vinyl foam components. It is ineffective in its inactive state. SCP-1114 is for all intents and purposes a typical automotive frontal impact crash test dummy. Its anomalous properties manifest when a human being sustains a physical injury within a range of 50 meters from its current position. Okay. Does it like absorb the damage? SCP-1114 then imprints on the subject in its face, and its face plating molds itself to resemble the face of the subject. Oh no. Any physical injury through external forces will then manifest only on SCP-1114. This has been proved to include blunt force trauma and puncture wounds of various levels of severity. Strikes with blunt or sharp implements will appear to bounce off the subject, but if the blow would have severed any part of the subject's body, it will sever a corresponding part of on SCP-1114. So he's taking your damage. That's great, but I'm pretty sure there's something that will say like, oh no, this is the moment when everything goes wrong. However, tests have also demonstrated that while the damage itself is not applied to the subject, the pain is. When trauma is induced, subject exhibits behavioral patterns appropriate to a person receiving that trauma. This includes screaming, weeping, and a psychological level loss of consciousness. Ah, okay, so it's not like the pain goes away like with SCP-109. painkillers were like, oh, I don't feel any pain. No, the physical trauma is put under the dummy, but the pain receptors is still active. So like anything that, if an arm would be severed by the attack, it will literally feel like it's severed, even though the arm is still there. This effect has been observed to be reciprocal, with any damage done to SCP-1114 manifesting on the body of the subject imprinted on. When SCP-1114 is damaged, the subjects immediately develop the appropriate trauma and according sensations. If SCP-1114 is displaced by the injury caused, this movement does not appear to carry over to the subjects. Damage done to SCP-1114 when in inactive state does not seem to have an abnormal effect. Damage shows up and remains on SCP-1114 until its next activates. At that point, all damage disappears as described below. It just heals itself, fixes itself, for a new amount of damage to come along. Once imprinted as has occurred, SCP-1114 does not appear to imprint on another subject. This process does not seem to be reversible except by termination of the subject, unless the test subject qualifies for continued existence as understood in Guideline 114G1 Protocol. Wanderlust is initiated. Upon unimprinting, SCP-1114's face plating reverts to its initial form and any and all damage done to it instantly disappears. This includes previously severed parts reappearing even previously removed from the test site or destroyed. The method by which it reassembles itself is unknown at this time. If these events do not transpire within 30 minutes of the subjects having been declared officially terminated, SCP-1114 is to be destroyed. Staff are to be alert for the appearance of remains on site. Addendum A1. Recovery and preliminary containment notes. SCP-1114 was discovered on 2000 at Germany in the plant after it had been used in a safety test for a new model SUV. Foundation operators were called in after sleeper agents within the plant made contact and reported the incident. A press release was sent out detailing an unfortunate industrial accident. And then A2, except from testing log 114-T. So T1, Dr. 1 common chimpanzee, pan troglodytes, 1 short-beaked common dolphin, Delphinus delphis, 1 chicken, Gallus domesticus. Some will go to see whether SCP-1114 is able to imprint on other species. All animals were sedated and strapped in place to secure ease of handling. A needle was inserted into the chimpanzee left upper thigh. No change to SCP-1114 face plating occurred within a period of 30 minutes following the initial injury, and the chimpanzee was taken back to its cell. A small cut was made in the dolphin's dorsal fin. No change to the SCP-1114's face plating occurred within a period of 30 minutes following the initial injury, and the dolphin was taken back to its own tank. The chicken had one of its wings broken. No changes to the SCP-1114's face plating occurred within a period of 30 minutes following the initial injury, and the chicken was taken to the mess. SCP-1114 does not seem to imprint on other species. Of course it doesn't. It's a human test dummy. Only humans. Test 15. Dr. D53466 to determine the extent of the relation between SCP-1114 and the test subject after imprinting. D53466 was forcibly strapped and placed in a high-backed chair by security staff present. A needle was then inserted in the subject's left upper thigh. The image recognition software registered a change to SCP-1114's face plating after approximately 5 minutes. Doctor then instructed one of the security staff present to hit D53466 over the head with his baton. D53466 pleaded loudly but was struck and is instructed. No injury present itself on the subject's body, but SCP-1114 immediately developed a large dent in the area where D53466 had been struck. Subject did exhibit signs of distress after the blow, complaining of severe pain and repeatedly attempting to reach for his head. After this test, SCP-1114 was ditto expunged. Remains were collected and disposed as of per regulation. SCP-1114 imprinting on subject does not transfer feelings of pain to SCP-1114, only physical damage to subject's body. Test 53. Dr. D92832, determine how damage done to SCP-114 affects test subject. D93832 was strapped down as per testing protocol. Subject was extremely apprehensive and agitated, requiring several security personnel to restrain him. Doctor left the room and returned with a sedative. After forceful application of said sedative and a small time spent waiting for it to take effect, testing proceeded. A needle was then inserted in the subject's left upper thigh. A change to SCP-1114's faceplating was registered after approximately 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Security staff was then instructed to discharge the sidearm at the SCP-1114's head at point-blank range. D93832 was allowed to recover from the effects of the sedatives in his cell. Doctor was returned to his next of kin in a closed casket. Testing protocol needs revision. We need to very carefully match the faceplate against all personnel in the activation radius, not just test subjects. So it actually took the doctor, not the D class. And the fact that the SCP got headshot means the doctor died from that. Ooh. Imagine doing 53 tests and then with the 53rd test you realize, like, wait a minute. Hold on. We forgot something here. And it's like too late. Already happened. Distant early warning. I wonder if that's like the signal. Maybe it's like a space thing again, where it's like, instead of like an alien being like, oh, we're coming to Earth, but this time it's like a warning, like, we are intending to take over. So it's like, yeah. Or maybe it's like one of the stars like exploding when it's supposed. I don't know. I assume it's what? What is this? Euclid. No attempts to capture, intercept, or interfere with SCP-1115 is to be made until further notice. SCP-1115's movement is to be monitored by satellite at all times and by Foundation UAVs trailing at a distance of 50 kilometers. Equatorial weather conditioning are to be monitored, and Mobile Task Force Upsilon 638 Phoenix Nest is to be placed on standby in the event of any phenomena which could result in the disruption of SCP-1115's route. All transmissions of SCP-2 are to be recorded for analysis. In the event of any major deviation from SCP-1115's itinerary, Site 731 is to be evacuated and authorization is granted to execute procedure. Greenbrier at 05 discretion. A Foundation Front Company Space Communication Properties has acquired license to test UAVs for communication purposes in airspace above the equator. Any sightings of SCP-1115 shall be attributed in the media as being prototypes of these UAVs. In the event that any part of SCP-1115 ceases functioning, Phoenix Nest is to deploy and retrieve it as soon as possible. To be transferred to Site 731 for dismantling and storage. Recovered SCP-115 artifacts are not to be exposed to any light more intense than 100 lux. And here we have an SCP-115 drone at a low altitude during signal transmission. Okay, interesting where this is going to go. Definitely looks like it has to do with aliens, but maybe I'm wrong. SCP-1115 is currently consists of 87 toroidal unmanned aerial vehicles approximately 1.2 meters in diameter of unknown manufacture and origin. At all times since direct observation began in all SCP-115 drones have been in flight at an average altitude of approximately 15 kilometers above sea level. Okay, they're higher than planes? Are planes usually 10 kilometers above sea level? Let's see here. Planes altitude. Okay, so how much was it? 1,000 feet in kilometers. Yeah, so 10 to 11, I would say. So they're above planes. Traveling due west above areas within 20 degrees latitude north or south of the equator at an average speed of 1,600 kilometers per hour. So I think that was a faster than planes now. SCP-1115 speed is synchronized to the solar terminator, one of the two lines drawn across the Earth's surface delineating the lit and unlit portions of the planet, which move constantly westward as the Earth rotates at the axis. So it's as fast as the planet rotation. Is that what it's trying to say, or it's at least as fast as like the night and days happen? So I'm unsure. I'm sure what that. Or, no, maybe not that. It is faster than I don't know. It's math. SCP-1115 maintains itself at a distance of approximately 45 degrees longitude east of the Terminator, resulting in its remaining in a day-lit part of the world at all times. SCP-1115 maintains this route at all times, completing a circuit of the globe every 24 hours, altering course only if its direct route is impeded by cloud cover or inclement weather. No SCP-1115 drone has been observed to enter a cloud area. The drones comprising SCP-1115 were not being interfered with by outside forces or moving to evade meteorological phenomena, fly in a pattern comprising several V formations of the type displayed by migratory birds. The presence of several missing spots in each formation indicates that SCP-1115 initially consists of at least drones. Okay, down. At approximately 500 UTC each day, while SCP-1115 is overflying a region of the Sahara Desert located at northeast, an individual SCP-1115 drone will descend to approximately 500 meters above surface level and transmit a radio signal designated -2. Okay, here we go. I mean, the fact that there's so many drones just flying around, that's going to be super hard to hide. Before ascending and returning to its place in formation, -2 is an audio recording between 41 and 46 seconds in length on all recorded instances of a synthesized male voice speaking a language not identified by the Foundation. A large portion of the recording remains the same in all recorded instances, while several other portions vary daily. -2 has occurred every day that SCP-1115 has been under observation, except when cloud cover has made it impossible for an SCP-1115 drone to descend to the transmission zone. The intended recipients of -2 has not been identified. Several Foundation surveys of the area have failed to locate any pre-existing radio antennae or artifacts similar to SCP-1115. For information regarding the history and translation of -2, refer to addenda. Ooh. Excuse me. God, it's not sitting well in my stomach. To date, SCP-1115 has resisted any attempts to capture a drone while in flight. Individual SCP-1115 drones have demonstrated an ability to evade missile and cannon fire as well as ground-based anti-aircraft weapons and disable pursuing aircraft by generating an electromagnetic pulse. Oh boy. That SCP-1115 itself is not affected by. On 19, an aircraft with shielded electronics was used to attempt to intercept an SCP-1115 drone. When the aircraft continued pursuit after the EMP was deployed, the drone responded by ramming the aircraft and detonating a miniaturized nuclear device installed within it. Oh, they really don't want to be captured. Yeah. Destroying itself and the aircraft and producing a 5 kiloton air blast over the redacted where pursuit was occurring. Emergency aerial dispersal of Class E amnestics in populated areas near redacted was conducted and Foundation media attributed after effects to forest fires. All further attempts to intercept SCP-1115 are preemptively denied. Yeah, don't do that again. That's going to cause some big boy trouble. In addition to the incident described above, 3 SCP-1115 drones have ceased functioning since observation began. 2 of the 3 crashed into the Pacific Ocean after an unidentified failure resulted in their suddenly losing altitude due to the depths of the crash regions. The Foundation has deemed them unobtainable. The third, which crashed on land near redacted in north of Africa in 1942 was not immediately obtainable due to the ongoing military conflict in the region. Surveys conducted after the war ended have failed to locate it and is currently believed to have been buried entirely by shifting desert sands. The Foundation has acquired one intact SCP-1115 drone designated -1 to date for information on its history and findings regarding it, referred to addenda, which we have 2 of them. History and analysis of addenda of -1, okay. -1 was discovered in 1856 by a British archaeological expedition in Borneo. At the time of its discovery, it was partially buried and heavily caked with volcanic ash, identified as having originated from Mount Tempura, a volcano on the Indonesian island of Sumbawa, which in 1815 was the site of the most powerful volcanic eruption in recorded history. It is speculated that the sudden eruption of Mount Tambora resulted in -1's propulsion system becoming clogged with ash before it could correct its course, causing it to fail and crash. The expedition sold -1 to the Raja of Sarawak, who displayed it as a curio in his royal palace until it was acquired by the Foundation in 1901. So like nearly 50 years later. As the Foundation lacked the capability to properly examine it at the time, it was classified as an anomalous object and archived in Reliquary 38. In 2000, a Foundation archivist discovered the similarity between the artifacts and SCP-1115, leading to it being reclassified as -1 and transferred to Site 731 for study. The exterior surface of -1 was found to be composed almost entirely of solar energy collector panels composed of an unidentified polymer. Upon exposure to a bright spotlight generating approximately 500 lux, -1 immediately became active, began transmitting a previously undocumented variant of -2. Transmission stopped within 5 seconds of the spotlight being removed. Later data analysis indicated that during the period the transmission occurred, 17 SCP-1115 drones broke formation, began to divert from the previous course in the cardinal direction of Site 731. It was like a helping call. And I see now what it means when like it cannot come down when it's foggy, because it needs the sunlight to work. That's why this one activated after a certain amount of light hit it, right? So if the sun is not, that's what they have to always stay in the sun. Because once night hits them, they just come down. Further exposure of any captured SCP-1115 artifacts to bright light is prohibited. SCP-1115's propulsion system is highly efficient, deriving all necessary power from the solar panels, and appears to be based on theoretical models of redacted that the Foundation does not yet have the capability to test fully. The majority of -1's interior and all of its external extensions, except for a radio antenna, consists of a wide variety of environmental monitoring devices, not all of which have been identified. Devices from measuring temperature, wind speed, humidity, atmospheric concentration of oxygen, carbon dioxide, and several noble gases, radioactivity, and redacted, have been identified. Printed circuit boards incorporated into the onboard devices bear markings in an unidentified language, possibly the same one heard in -2. A nuclear device believed to be similar to the one detonated on 19 was recovered, consisting of a cube 60mm on each side, composed of an unidentified alloy. Okay. Radiometric testing of materials found in -1 indicate that the drone was manufactured approximately 12.3 million years ago, plus minus 600,000 years. Collection of further samples this thing is apparently super old. Collection of further samples is deemed necessary to verify this date. -1 was partially resampled and is stored at Site 731. A determination has been made that any future SCP-1115 artifacts recovered will be stored at Site 731, as well as to prevent any possible further exposure on Foundation site location to SCP-1115. Yeah, because some of them now know where you guys are. Okay, here we go. -2, History and Analysis. -2 was first detected in 1912 by a Foundation expeditionary unit which was exploring the region of the southern Sahara to catalog anomalous atoms reported there. Upon first reception, the signal was believed to be a unique event. When the same signal was received consecutively several days in a row, further investigation ensued, resulting in the construction of a permanent listening post to receive all further transmission. And as SCP-1115 itself could not be detected at the time, the signal was itself classified as SCP-1115. With the discovery of SCP-1115 in 19... It was reclassified as -1 and later as -2. And the artifact now designated -1 was reclassified. The Foundation has collected over 30,000 recordings of -2 to date. -2 has broadcast on approximately 97% of all calendar days since observation began. As -2 is the only known example of the language spoken in it, attempts at translation have proved next to impossible. Foundation linguists have noticed similarities between the language of -2 and the Basque language, as well as the constructed language. Due to the presumed age of SCP-1115, these similarities are believed to be coincidental. The first breakthrough in translating -2 did not occur until 19, when a senior Foundation linguist discovered that a certain word found in all early recordings of -2 had been replaced with different and longer word beginning in July of 1945. And in spite of frequent changes afterwards, the original word had never been used again. Doctor speculated in conjunction with information gathered from the study of -1 that the word in question was in reference to atmospheric radioactivity proceeded as a result of the detonation of nuclear weapons. Based on this assumption, Dr. and staff were by 2000 able to decipher a series of words referring to a number in the base 12 system. Based on the known purpose of instruments found in -1, inferences have been made identifying the meanings of several other words found in -2. Below is a transcript of -2 broadcast recorded on 2000. With current speculated meanings of footnotes. So let's read the whole thing first. Yehom te ehal Allah ahalam the embark of the B8AA092A Tiaste 114.1 Anach Yame 5A mir noch hat Dales Herr Yehom te Halle mir Falers 0.00050822 Yehom Etehalen Emoch Amola 216060B Yeha Sel Tevas A6 Eham 14A Tevas Turchem Embara 20 near Nares Ahalam Yehom Tehalal Yehom Tehalal Yehom Tehalal. Okay, so this one means meaning unknown. This phrase repeats several times throughout -2. Is currently speculated to be a nationalist or religious proclamation, meaning unknown, and it was increased by one of the subsequent recording. Currently speculated to indicate the number of successive broadcasts made. Okay, global mean temperature on an absolute scale similar to the Kelvin scale. Relative humidity. Wind velocity in an unknown scale and an unidentified term possibly indicating a direction. Atmospheric radiation in measurement similar to the Siervik scale. Meaning unknown. Redacted. Meaning unknown in recordings of 1945, 1947 till 1973, 1979, 1983, 1997 till 1998, 2005, and 2009 till 2011. The phrase "Betavas" is heard instead. Believed to indicate that SCP-1115 will report again the following day unless a new order has received. It seems to do like a weather report almost. Humanoid remote drones. Well, we just had drones. But in this case, I think there are drones that look like humans. But at the moment, like, you actually tear them apart, you realize they're all like mechanical. And they're just meant to like observe and share information to somebody. They just look very much like human beings. Let me check something. No response there. Okay. Okay, it's dash 1 through 6 and 8 are to be kept in individual 5 times 5 times 3 meters containment cells at site. Each cell is to be shielded against radio frequency transmission of up to W transmissive power with frequencies ranging from megahertz to gigahertz. All electronic monitoring and communication equipment must be hardwired with shielded cabling. No wireless communication devices are permitted within meter of any instance of SCP-1116. Site is to maintain on hot standby 2 frequency agile RF jamming devices of at least kilowatts output to be activated in case of containment breach by SCP-1116. No specimen of SCP-1116 is permitted above ground at any time unless fully enclosed in a container with the specified shielding. Line of sight of the sky must be blocked at all times. Each cell is to contain 1 chair constructed of non-metallic, non-conductive material secured to the floor and equipped with mechanical restraints and waste disposal facilities, as well as 3 wide-spectrum RF antennas connected to software-defined radio receiving equipment. All recorded radio transmission from SCP-1116 specimens are to be forwarded to site for analysis. God damn it. Specimens are to be fed 3 times daily with... Each cell to contain 1 chair constructed of non-metallic, non-conductive material secured to the floor and equipped with mechanical restraints, as well as 3 wide-spectrum RF antennas connected to software-defined radio receiving equipment. All recorded audio transmission from SCP-1116 specimens are to be forwarded to site for analysis. Am I dumb? Did I just read the same paragraph again? Specimens are to be fed 3 times daily with processed food only. Use of restraints during feeding is mandatory. Specimens must be led through calisthenics 2 times daily using vocal commands. See schedule -C for approved exercise and document -B for known command phrases and current macros. Cells are not to be opened during exercises. Remotely operated audio equipment is to be utilized, hardwired, and shielded as per above specification. All testing of SCP-1116 specimens is to take place either within the specimen's own containment cell or within a testing chamber shielded to the same specification. Transport out. Transport between containment cell and testing chamber is to take place under the armed guard with the specimen restrained and both RF jamming devices activated. During transfer and testing, all verbal interaction between researchers and or security staff are to be confirmed by hand signals. See Addendum 1. The remains of -7 are to be kept in cold storage at Bio-Research Area 12 for further analysis. Okay. SCP-1116 is a group of 7 humanoids of varied race and gender with apparent ages between 20 and 35. All initially appear to suffer from catatonic stupor, including symptoms of catalepsy. Specimens will swallow food and water when placed into their mouth but will not chew. Specimens will remain in a given position when physically manipulated into their position. Specimens will attempt to maintain homeostasis, including sweat, pupil dilation, and fluctuation in respiratory and heart rate, but will not detectably react to pain stimuli, including heat, pressure, or puncture. Sexual stimuli, including both display images and manual stimulation, or environmental threats, including extreme cold, extreme heat, starvation, dehydration, or large predator animals. Okay. So they just don't move. Or eat. Well, they eat, but they don't chew. SCP-1116 specimens show no evidence of foliation, but will respond to a limited number of verbal commands. An example, sit, stand, raise right hand. And can remember a sequence of commands for later execution when preceded by a macro phrase. See document -B for more details. This command vocabulary is extremely narrow, however, including only references to gross motor functions, simple counting, and a small number of basic spatial relation. CT scans of SCP-1116 reveal specimens to possess greater than 10% of the expected... smaller than 10% of the expected neural mass, with the remaining cranial volume occupied by cerebrospinal fluid. Embedded in the outer layer of the skull is a mesh of metallic filaments composed of an alloy silver, percentage, zinc, percentage, and redacted, percentage, and forming a pattern closely resembling a iteration box fractal. SB1116 specimens appear to use this mesh layer as a radio antenna and will transmit tramps per hour on different frequencies. Energy for these transmissions appear to derive from normal metabolic processes, but the specific mechanism for generating the required current has not yet been identified. The only vocalization from specimens to date expecting incident I-23, see below, have been low volume atonal singing noises corresponding to periods of radio transmissions. Cryptographic analysis of outbound transmission is ongoing. Current evaluation indicates there are likely connection requests using an unknown protocol. Addendum 1. After the event of I-23, it has been determined that the cranial antennae of an SCP-1116 specimen can be used to produce localized pockets of heated air, creating sound waves audible only to individual personnel. Multiple survivors of incident I-23 claimed they heard orders which were determined never to have been given, contributing to and belonging to containment breach of -7. Containment procedures have been updated accordingly. And incident I-23, here we go. I-23, 2000. Site. During transport from cell testing chamber -7, accessed a laptop left 1 meter away from with its wireless networking enabled, and through its circumvented site network security, audio recordings indicate that coincident with the network breach, subject made a brief singing sound, then proceeded to become active and breach containment, resulting in the death of researchers and security personnel, as well as subjects escaped from the facility. Subject was re-engaged kilometer away after an additional minutes and was fatally wounded in the ensuing firefight. Transmissions did not fully cease, however, until subject's cranium was destroyed. Forensic analysis of the network breach has yet to determine the full extent of the compromised data, but given the band frequency emission detected from the subject for the duration of this time, on the surface, estimates put the total data leakage of up to gigabytes. Okay, feasting table. I imagine like a table that just doesn't stop giving food, and people kind of like in Spirited Away, people just start like eating and it's never stop, and they just get real fat. Like, oh, maybe they put transform into pigs too. Who knows? -1 is to be stored in a standard secure vault at site. Under no circumstances are personnel to be permitted to enter the chamber or interact with the object. Cases of -3 produced by accidental exposure or testing have to be placed into isolation with minimal contact. -1 is a wooden dining room table, 90 centimeters long by 150 centimeters wide by 75 centimeters tall. Testing indicates that it is approximately 70 years old and has shown no unusual preservative properties. -1 is laden with a wide variety of food and drink, designated -2. When consumed by subjects, it is rapidly replaced, though the exact contents of the table are not consistent. Analysis has been unable to find pattern. Dishes and products from cultures all over the world have been observed. Subjects display great enjoyment during the meal. Testing has revealed that it is possible to remove dishes from the table and serve them elsewhere with the same result. Subjects unaware of the food's origin still describe it as very tasty, and who have consumed food or drink from -1 become subject to a secondary effect. These individuals designated -3 have the ability to cause -2 to spontaneously appear nearby whenever they feel hungry. That sounds pretty dope to me. Wait a minute. Oh, thank God. Okay. It sounds pretty dope, I was about to say. Subjects display great reluctance to consume anything other than the food that they find, remarking that nothing else tastes as good. The effect can be spread if -3 share -2 with other individuals. Aside from these effects, the found food is indistinguishable from normal food. The side effects of SCP-1117 exposure only appear after roughly a week. Individuals with active lifestyles are affected notably faster, demonstrating the effects after only a few days. Subjects have described a steady decrease in energy levels and become easily fatigued. Continued consumption of -2 increases the effect between 3 and 6 weeks after initial exposure. Subjects apparently die from a lack of energy or from theoretically harmless contagions. Okay. No unusual physiological effects have been noted, and autopsies have proved largely inconclusive, with no signs of damage consistent with previously studied energy-draining phenomena. Forcing -3 to ingest food other than -2 after the effects have begun to show has induced extreme nausea and fatal cardiac arrhythmia in all cases. I can't eat! They just become ghouls from Tokyo Ghoul, like, I just can't eat this! Autopsies have shown severe depletion of phosphates, magnesium, and calcium to be a significant contributing factor, although the cause of these deficiencies is unclear. Given the SCP's ability to spread rapidly, -1 has been declared off limits. Field agents are advised to be alert to any signs of SCP-117 exposure in general population. Addendum. Lock it up. Research is going nowhere, and this thing is clearly of no use to us. Just keep watching out for signs of infection in the general population. There could be a major epidemic if it gets out. This whole project has been thoroughly depressing. We get enough routine deaths around here without testing inexplicable ones. At least the bodies take up less room, Doctor. No more. Os summum. Can't really do anything with that. So we shall continue. Oh. Yeah. SCP-1, okay. 1118-1 is to be locked in a safe class inanimate object container storage site 5. Sets of -2 are to be kept in separate locked safe boxes at the same facility following incident 118/I/5512101 R, and due to the inherent difficulties in tracking related events, only -2D is to be used in testing procedures. -1 is a heavily modified Adler brand typewriter, favorite model serial number 466442, manufactured in 1935 by the Adler Schreibmaschinen Company in Frankfurt, Germany. Yeah, Schreibmaschine is just the German word for typewriter. A small brass plaque mounted on the underside of -1 bears the following inscription: Os Summum, HH 1937. This has been stenciled over in white paint with that 12. So let's just see here what this says, because this does have a footnote, which is number 1, and then it's number 2. A scanned exit from the surviving SOE documentations on SB-118. Special Operations Executives. It says here, quarters, Southwestern District. Regarding Project Wind Chime sighting, 25th September 1994. Dear Alice, I hope this letter finds you safe and well. I would like to alert you to the possible sighting of the item classified as 27222, maybe A, under the guidance set by Project Wind Chime. Our lads in Berlin have sent in reports detailing NKVD activity centering around several known locations or artifacts of interest to the SOE. Unfortunately, these locations are currently inaccessible to our operatives, though they remain under surveillance. On the early morning of 19 September 1945, Lieutenant Henderson reported witnessing the removal of several items from the residence. Amongst them was the aforementioned survisory device. We know Stalin's boys are combing the city for what? I'm confused. In the city for these things, but I'll be damned if we can do anything about it at this point. If you have any thoughts or course of action, please advise. As previously requested, we have only restricted from addressing the public. Please advise on the action to be taken in light of these development if the Russians maintain possession of I'm pretty sure that's a 2228. There is no amount of political burglary that will sort this out. And here we have Group Division P, okay, which we can click down here, but I'm probably not gonna read that anyway. Groups of interest, yeah. All of -1's factory key tops have been detached on 31 of its keys have been modified to accept the set of -2. -1's type bars have been removed and replaced with metacarpals and proximal phalanges from 24 unknown donors. These have been fused together by an unknown process to achieve the necessary shape, as these type bars do not contain type elements. Striking a key will not cause a symbol to be transferred to any paper inserted to -1. -2 are sets of 31 human model. Oh. The surface filled with filed down to permit labeling with an unremarkable black ink. I think I saw an image of like a thief typewriter. The exact composition of which varies between sets. Sets of -2 contain all 26 letters of the Latin alphabet, as well as space bar, period, comma, exclamation mark, and question mark. The chemical analysis of the ink used on -2 sets and comparison to reference samples provides an approximate time of manufacturing. An instance of -2 is attuned to a specific target through a ritual procedure as documented in supplemental procedure. The AX14Z, please note that any attempt to carry out this procedure is subject to inquiry by the ethics committee. These mimeograph duplicates were recovered with -1. The originals are presumed lost. Models used in the fabrication of -2 sets only need to be whole and devoid of cavities. No further requirements exist. When a full set of -2 is mounted on -1's keyboard, any words typed out on SCP-118 will be vocalized by -1's target. Sorry. Note that keys from different -2 sets are not interchangeable. While an operator's typing speed might be variable, targets are able to form intelligible and coherent speech from this input. It is not currently clear how targets get manage this, and as tests have shown, the target's physiological state is not a factor in this process, and speech has been recorded from test subjects not automatically equipped to produce it. It is currently unclear how SCP-118 induces vocalization in these targets. Vocalization made through SCP-118 can also influence the target's behavior, though it is unknown whether there are limits to this. Note that if a target is diseased, vocalization that would otherwise influence behavior will have no effect. My left hand is so itchy right now. Living targets of SCP-118 will perceive anomalous vocalization as appropriate and logical and will become agitated if confronted with the discordance of their speech. Please refer to Psychological Evaluation Log 118P930627A for behavioral study, both pre- and post-event of test subjects assigned to SCP-118. Listeners are not subject to this effect and can easily discern speech that might be characterized as out of character for the speaker. 3 complete sets of -2 were recovered and designated A through C. The nominal documentation retrieved with -1 confirms the targets for -2A and -2B. The target of set -2C has been identified as of yet. Set -2D was created for testing purposes. See document, oh my god, ECD 921224M for the official sanction by the ethics committee. I feel like that style of writing must be something from like an older SCP style, because I don't see it that often. That like that stuff. I feel like a lot of SCP I read don't have that anymore, or just don't have it in general. -1 was recovered with an additional 14 loose models collectively referred to as -3, while instances of -3 have been modified in a fashion similar to the sets -A through -C. They are missing the necessary mounting material to be used in conjunction with -1. Instances of -2 appear to be significantly older than those in currently known -2 sets. The labeling has deteriorated severely but seems to contain markings in elder Futhark. No documentation exists detailing -3's role, but it is theorized -3 inspired the creation of -1 and -2. Addendum A1. Information on -2 and respective targets. Okay. -2A, approximate time of creation 1946 till 1950. Target former US President Harry S. Truman. Then B, 1932 till 1937, from British Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain. 2C, 1958, 1967, unknown. -2D, 1992. D, 138119, deceased. It is unknown whether set A and C have successfully been used to influence US politics. Addendum A2. Oh god, this is... This one is a bit not clicking that much with me. Probably because I'm like thinking like it's getting late and I have to like really hurry up. Except from incident report I-551-201R on the 12th, 1st, 1955, 2016, 21 o'clock. A personal aide to former President Truman placed a call to latter personal physician, one doctor, expressing concern that his employee was having a seizure of some kind. During the call, Truman could be heard vocalizing in the background. Excerpts appear here. This is a test. Maxim says this works. Nothing is happening. Why is nothing happening? I am bored. Why can I not type in Russian? I think it was something I ate. I'll go to bed now. Good night. A full transcript of the call is available in the unexpurgated version of this incident report. Full research into historical context for this incident is pending. And then in A3, selected chronology of -1 related events sightings. Okay, so in the 11th, 3rd, 1938, sources within the SOE began suspecting British Prime Minister Chamberlain to be under foreign influence. Investigation focused on bribery, blackmail, and other traditional methods of manipulation. 12th, 28th, 1938. God, that food is not sticking well in my stomach. It's literally... No evidence of manipulation has been found. However, elements embedded in Nazi Party warned the SOE about occult activity centered around the remote manipulation of the key British political elements. 2nd, 28, 1939. Oh, is that serendipity? Yeah, serendipity, I hear. Yeah, that's nice. Photographs surface of SCP-1118. A group of men is posing with SCP-1118. Several are wearing white label coats with labels stitched to the breast. The beast. One is the swastika, the other is... They look sponged. Eradicated in 1945. During the fall in Berlin, Heinrich Himmler is seen sitting in front of SCP-1118 with his face turned to the camera. 6th, 14th, 1939, Chamberlain speeches analysis for discrepancies in SCP-1118 believed to be a fact in politics of appeasement. There is a noticeable lack of SCP-1118 related events starting between 1939 and 1945. Efforts to retrieve and contain SCP-1118 are sabotaged by unerbe and Abwehr operators both within and outside of the Foundation. Abwehr means defense. Or like... yeah, I think the best word would be defense, right? And unerbe is like passing of a will from your family. 9th, 22nd, 1945, sighting of SCP-1118 confirmed by COE operators in Berlin. Group Division P personnel working on the Red Army jurisdiction believed responsible for removal of SCP-1118 from the Himmler residence. 10th, 4th, 1945, Foundation operative redacted managed to intercept SCP-1118 before it is transported to Russia. 10th, 5th, 1945, Foundation operative redacted presumed kill in action, SCP-1118 considered lost. 12/1, 1955, former U.S. President Truman displays signs of being under the influence of SB-118. 6/14, 1982, during a CIA operation in Redacted, an item matching the description of SB-118 is found on an itemized shipping list for a freight train heading to Moscow. The transport cannot be located. 3/31, 1992, Redacted, a former Group Division P operative makes contact with Foundation operators in the CIA and offers to surrender SB-1118 in return for asylum. 4/16, 1992, after disembarking on U.S. soil, Redacted is taken into the Foundation custody and SB-1118 is recovered from his luggage. Containment of SCP-118 is achieved. The briefing of Redacted reveals little relevant operational knowledge of Group Division P, though the intelligence gathered leads to the further retrieval and containment of several other objects. This one was a bit of a pain to read, but I think I understand what it's trying to go for. No touching is the last one for today. So, either it's something that you shouldn't touch because something will happen, or it is something that causes you to not be able to touch it anymore. Like, as in, like, somebody wants to touch you, and there's just this like invisible field that just like makes it like, and same other way around, like, you know, you just can't touch anybody anymore. Oh, thank you for keeping it short. Euclid, SCP-1119 is to be contained in an M-type humanoid anomaly containment cell HACC at Site 53. In the event personnel needed to enter SCP-1119 cell, they are to wear level C hazmat suits to avoid skin-to-skin contact. All requests made by SCP-1119 are to be screened and allowed or denied as per standard Euclid class humanoid containment protocol. Bearing express permission by at least one member of attached level 3 research staff, SCP-1119 is not allowed to leave its cell. SCP-119 is a Caucasian male, age 54, measuring 174.3 centimeters and weighing 154.6 kilograms. That's pretty heavy for somebody who's shorter than me. Either is chubby or beefy. X-ray scans and exploratory surgery of SCP-119's body have yielded several anomalous findings. Evidence exists of absorption of tissue and organs belonging to other sentient beings by SCP-119's body. This resembles twin embolization syndrome, although this has never been shown to occur outside of the uterus. Is he absorbing people? SCP-1119 has been found to have 2 human eyeballs attached to the interior to medial lobe of the right lung. Okay, that's In addition, SCP-119 carries several superfluous organs and miscellaneous tissues, including a kidney, 2 spleen, a gallbladder, 2 fallopian tubes, and approximately 3.4 meters of small intestine, all of which are stored in the abdominal cavity. Yeah, no wonder he's heavy. He's literally, he's like, he's just hoarding a bunch of organs and body parts. These organs and tissues, I think it's just organs, right? Are eyes considered organs? I forgot. Or are they considered tissues? These organs and tissues are connected to SCP-119's body by a network of small blood vessels so that atrophy or necrosis of absorbed materials is prevented. DNA tests on samples taken have shown tissues present belonging to at least 15 separate individuals, both male and female. None of these could be reliably traced, though one was shown to be similar enough to SCP-119's own DNA to assume a direct genetic relation. Tests have shown that skin-to-skin contact with SCP-119 will initiate the absorption process. So yeah, it's just like one contact has been made. Cells in the epidermis of SCP-119 bond with those in the victim's skin and absorb them. The process appears to be irreversible and can only be halted by amputation or excision of connected tissues. SCP-119 shows signs of severe stress when absorption occurs, while victims appear to enter a coma-like state within 2.5 seconds of initiation of absorption. So they don't feel anything, they just get dragged in there. It is currently unknown what causes this state. Total absorption takes approximately 10 minutes per kilogram of tissue. The process seems to move around any non-organic matter it finds, leaving any such article behind after it completes. Note that although absorption of victims is complete, SCP-119's body mass does not increase correspondingly. It is currently unknown how SCP-119's body processes absorbed tissues. SCP-119 does not appear to retain any characteristics, memories, or personality traits of those absorbed. So the weight he got is not from absorbing people. I guess that's just how he was. SCP-1119 has... Did I always say 1118 by accident now? SCP-1119 has exhibited relief at being held for research by the Foundation, but does not suffer from severe clinical depression. Treatment has been started using counseling and medication. 50 milligram fluvoxamine, oral dose 1 per 24 hour. SCP-119 is extremely uncomfortable around others and will not usually initiate any form of contact. Yeah, of course, because then it's just a little bit of contact. It's like... Genealogical research has revealed SCP-1119's father to have been deceased since 19, and his mother to have been deceased since 2000. SCP-1119 has referred when pressed to his life as extremely sheltered. Addendum 1, well, A1, recovery and preliminary containment notes. SCP-1119 came to the Foundation attention when it attempted to commit suicide by jumping from the bridge. Despite clear warnings by SCP-119, a police officer grabbed his hand and was partially absorbed in the full view of the public. The resulting 911 calls were intercepted and a containment team was sent out. Emergency airborne Class A amnestics were administered to all involved, and SCP-1119 was taken to Site 53 for evaluation. Broadcasts of footage taken at the site were disrupted and all evidence was confiscated and destroyed as per guideline HMGD EFT 0013E Rev 2.16. Addendum A2. SCP-1119 has shown limited regenerative qualities following incident. I-1 further research warranted. Dr. Aislinger, and I assume... Yeah, sure, why not? Dr. Daniel Aislinger envied his peers outside of the Foundation. They only had to deal with life in 21st century eroding mankind's sanity, and he supposed that was enough to deal with as was. Even without anomalies running amok in the world, human beings were quite capable of messing up their minds without any outside help. Mixing the trauma inherent in realizing, well, if I'm going to read this, I'm going to real quickly set it to drying, because it should be done by now. Right now, mixed in the trauma inherent in realizing reality was a sham, or what did you get? One hell of a challenge for people like Aislinger. He put down his briefcase in the spare office that assigned him at Site 103 and rubbed his eyes. He'd been awake for the entire flight over here. His body once again refusing to catch the sleep he so desperately needed. It always did that on long flights, stubbornly refusing to give in to exhaustion. And when he did doze off, he'd be walking by a cough or someone talking. It was infuriating, but he refused to medicate himself for something like this. He saved pharmaceuticals for when it really mattered. Coffee, he muttered and went back out to get some from one of the machines in the hall. When he came back, someone was sitting in the office chair opposite the desk. He was in his mid-40s, impeccable dressed in what looked like an expensive dark suit. He looked like he meant business, and not the "do you sometimes find yourself in a bind because you don't have enough containers for your leftovers, ma'am" kind of business. Dr. Aislinger, welcome. Aislinger hurriedly put the paper cup down on a nearby filling cabinet and shook hands. Thank you. And you are? My name is Dr. Manuel Cutler, and I'm a member of the Foundation's Ethics Committee. Perhaps you heard of us. Essling had a straight face and then curly noted, "Who hasn't, Dr. Cutler? The shadowy puppet masters of the Foundation, those who ultimately would control all things in this organization, for the procedures and guidelines we use to the quality and strength of the coffee-flavored water that I just got for myself." So to speak. Cutler raised an eyebrow, but Essling couldn't remember whether it was because he was puzzled or amused, perhaps both. Well, that is certainly one way of looking at it, but no, they don't control everything. In fact, we prefer that the Foundation regulate itself as much as possible. However, there are some times when we need to assert some control. This is one of them. Now it was Daniel's turn to raise his eyebrows ever so slightly. Oh? And is this then where you fill me in on the real reason I'm here? He walked over to the chair behind the desk and sat down. Motioning at the office chair, he said, Wait, who says this? Please sit down. Cutler took his seat again. Okay, please sit down. Cutler took his seat and again smiled. Thank you. And yes, that is exactly what I'm going to do. See, while you are here to do psychological evaluation of certain members of staff here at Site 103, I'm afraid the plural has become singular. Singular? Esslinger said and took a sip of his coffee. Ow! Exclaimed and hurried put the cup down again. I keep forgetting those machines serve this stuff piping hot on site and lukewarm at others. Damn it. Cutler waited patiently until Esslinger had finished fussing with his coffee cup. Yes, we're flying in Tennyson tomorrow. He'll be taking the personnel you were scheduled to see. You, on the other hand, will get to concentrate on one individual. Oh? Esslinger perked up. This week of a challenge. Who is it? He must be either a wreck or very important to you. Cutler folded his hands on his knees and smiled. It was not unlike seeing a shark bare its teeth. What? Is that supposed to be apartment? Characterization? Dr. Esslinger, perhaps it's both. What apt characterization, I guess. Yeah, Dr. Esslinger. Perhaps he's both. Regardless, you'll be meeting him in, Cutler looked at his watch, approximately 44 minutes. Daniel sighed. A challenge it might be, but it was also once again a change of plans. He wasn't good with changing plans. It meant actively working at staying alert, keeping his mind focused to deal with it. Even now he could feel his brain racing to recalculate how the day would go. Like a car's navigation system, frantically trying to get him back on the highway after he'd taken a detour through Woodsville, USA, famous for its three-headed cows and spontaneously combusting chick. He shook his head to clear it. Cutler was watching him with a faint air of amusement that instantly and firmly assigned him a bunk bed in this thing's camp do not like. So, might I be allowed to know who I'm going to be evaluating then? He ventured, trying to inject some sense of antagonism into his voice. But of course, Dr. Esslinger, I'm sure that would be the very minimum courtesy you deserve. There was an uncomfortable silence. And the winner is, Daniel ventured, now actually annoyed. We call him Bill. So that's not his real name. Doesn't matter. It does to me, Dr. Cutler. Someone's name does have some power, you know. Cutler laughed. I suppose it would do a psychologist. Bill will do for now, Dr. Esslinger. Remember that? What happened to the cat? The cat? What cat? Am I missing something? It would seem so. Curiosity killed the cat. Oh. A probe. Sorry, sometimes these things go right over my head. Yes, apparently. Cutler shook his head. Well, I won't keep you any longer. I suppose you want to do some prep. You will find most of what you need to know in the email you just received. I don't have any new... A ping sound from Esslinger mobile indicating new message. Break a leg, Daniel. Cutler said smockily and walked to the door. He stopped when Esslinger called after him. You know, Dr. Cutler, if you're going to pretend you're an ethics committee, please try to keep your pronouns straight. Cutler turned back to Esslinger. Sorry? You said they. Don't rule everything. I can't say I met a member of the 05 Council before, but I can say I don't really like the way you people do things. What makes you assume I have anything to do with the council and didn't just innocently use the wrong pronoun? The parry came. No one of the Foundation payroll could afford a brownie suit unless their own said payroll. Try blending in a little bit more next time. But then, with latent narcissism, that's going to be hard, isn't it? Touché, Dr. Esslinger. You're as observant as they assure me you will be. Try to put that to good use, will you? You're doing us a favor. He reached behind him for the door and nodded, and he was gone. Daniel Horatio Essinger desperately longed for a clean shirt. He also considered a dose of gymnastics and a job as a small-town psychologist in Alaska. The Bears were undoubtedly better company than his colleagues. And we're done. We're done with the SCP reading. Don't touch that! Baby. Here it is. Let me hurry up. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to explain much today. I really need to go to sleep. So, this is the list. In order of how much I enjoyed it. The last one, also someone I was just, I was just not really paying attention that much, and that's my mistake. So that's why it's down there. But I think they all were pretty fun. I think it's interesting how we had 2 drone ones. Yeah, but I think the dog one's definitely like the most saddest, but also the most intense one we have here. And the shadow play is pretty intense too. The lucky spin is pretty, like, the effect it has on the person. Because if you want to be immortal, that just helps you out a lot. But yeah, okay. I am done. Sorry for this weird session today. But yeah, so Wednesday, Thursday, and I think Friday should be normal stream days. Saturday I can't. I can't stream Saturday because I have to go to bed early because of my half marathon the next day. Sunday I will see if I will do anything because I might be super exhausted. After a half marathon, I don't think I'm going to want to do much, And yeah. And then next week, after that, I'll see if I'm already going to stream in the new place, or if I'm going to do like a last couple streams here. Because I'm planning to like build some stuff in the room where everything's going to be set up anyway. So yeah, we will see how that goes. But for now, I wish you all a good morning, afternoon, evening. I'll see you guys on Wednesday, hopefully. And the Afro's